Chapter 23. Anita. Anita was hiding something. She hadn't intended to, but she had no choice. It was Thursday, and there was still no sign of the weather bee anywhere. Stella had no updates from her father either, other than he's working on it. You must trust me. At home, Mom and Dad were anxious, but tried to keep a stiff upper lip. We put our faith in Scotland Yard, they kept saying. That's all we can do. But what if they could do more? She couldn't go to Scotland Yard. She'd promised she wouldn't, and she didn't want to lie to her friend. But what if there was another source she could go to and try to exchange information? It had been almost a week, and there was no time to waste. Anita had to act, and she knew just the way to do it. She'd go to Readaloud News. Stella hadn't said anything about reporters. Anita read articles all the time with unnamed sources. Maybe that was what she could be. And maybe while she was asking a reporter to dig into some of her clues, she could ask what the reporter knew as well. Would they do with that? Anita had to try. After school, Anita took the bus into London and went straight to the Readaloud News offices. She lied and told her mother and Stella that she was going to the Hampton house to see the pets. Stella would never go there if she didn't have to. She had no clue what she was going to say when she got to the newspaper office, or who she was going to ask for, but she needn't have worried. The moment she walked into the office, a woman jumped up and came running over. "You're the girl from the fashion show who lost the necklace." "You're Anita Weatherby," she exclaimed. She had warm olive skin, long brown hair, and a pencil tucked behind her left ear. She was wearing a smart red sleeveless dress with decorative pockets. Anita longed to tell her how much she liked her style, but she had to focus. Her legs were shaking, but she tried to calm herself. "Yes, I am." "Can I help you with something?" she asked. "I'm Hannah Strom, a Readaloud News reporter. I wrote the story on the necklace's disappearance and a follow-up, not that there is much to follow up on. It's as if the necklace vanished." Anita nodded. "That's what I was hoping to talk to you about. There are some things that happened that night that I don't have answers to," she said slowly. "And since they're just speculation, I haven't shared them with anyone. Not even Scotland Yard," she thought, and then pushed the thought away. "I would like to share them with you, with the understanding that my name stay out of whatever you find." Hannah's eyes widened. "I could do that." Anita bit the inside of her cheek. "And I was also hoping maybe you could share some things with me that you know, like an exchange." Hannah pursed her lips. "Let's see what we can do. Follow me to my office." And that was where Anita laid it all out. The whistle, the strange boy men backstage, her questions about the necklace of the scent of the necklace, and even Percival Fonswater. Hannah said nothing, just took notes, her eyes widening and her expression appearing startled more than once. Anita had the feeling she'd known none of this. When she was done sharing, Anita asked a question of her own. "Who do you interview for your story this week?" "I've actually spoken to Ben Heyman. Not that he's that helpful, but Richard DeVille refused an interview till the paper declares his innocence." Hannah gave her a pointed look. "I also interviewed the front desk manager at the Seville, Joyce Waterman." She paused. "And there's definitely something fishy about that Fonswater character you mentioned." Anita felt her heart begin to pound, and she took a sip of the water Hannah had given her. "What concerned you? Why would a jewelry collector visit DeVille that many times in the week leading up to the show, and only once following? Maybe I'm just grasping at straws here, but I think someone you know has that necklace." Anita's heart beat wildly, and she found herself finally saying something that she couldn't even let herself think before now. "I do too." Hannah opened a desk drawer and pulled out a small stack of papers. "My editor would have my head if he knew I was sharing these with you." Nevertheless, she pulled the papers Anita's way. "I could give you 20 minutes to hand copy anything you want to remember, but no one can know I did this." "Understood," Anita said, starting to perspire. "Read it over. Think about things. If you can think of any other leads I can pursue, come back," Hannah said, standing up to go. I really want your family to get that necklace back. Me too, Anita said, holding the papers tightly, and then she started to read. Reynolds News. Interview transcripts by Hannah Strom. May 1953. Bennett Heyman. Hannah. Mr. Heyman, please tell me how long you've worked for Richard DeVille. Bennett. I've been his right-hand man for the past 15 years. I've known his daughter, Stella, since she was a baby. He's not just an employer, he's family. Hannah. What exactly do you do for the DeVilles? Bennett. Handle all finances, book events, make sure the fashion line inventory is up to date. Really whatever is required of me. As I said, they are more like family at this point. Hannah. As family, you look out for them, do you not? Bennett. I do. This whole situation with the gala and the fashion show has been very distressing to Mr. DeVille, and we want nothing more than to find the Weatherby so we can put this business behind us. Hannah. Anything unusual happened that evening that you think could provide a lead? Bennett. I told Scotland Yard exactly what I know. I was backstage when Anita was attacked on stage. Hannah. Attacked? Anita told the police that it seemed as if the dogs were playing. Bennett. Whatever happened? She fell and the diamond disappeared under our watch. We don't take that lightly. Hannah. You'd do anything for the DeVilles, wouldn't you? Bennett. Of course. Hannah. Including lying about their financial situation? Bennett. I beg your pardon? Hannah. I've been told by several hotel staffers that the DeVilles have not paid for those 2 suites since they moved in. Numerous staffers have tried to collect, but you've said payment is forthcoming. One said, you said, and I quote, after the gala we will have all the money we need. Bennett. Quiet for a moment. Yes, because the event was going to bring in new business. Hannah. Are you sure it wasn't for other reasons, like trying to sell a priceless diamond? Bennett. Why, I never! This interview is over. How dare you accuse me of such things? I will talk to your boss about this. Shouting can be heard as Bennett Heyman leaves the premises. Joyce Waterman, front desk manager, Seville Hotel. Hannah. Thank you for speaking with me, Miss Waterman. How long have you been the front desk manager at the Seville? Joyce. For the past year. It's the most wonderful job. I truly love interacting with people and our wonderful guests. They come from all over the world. Hannah. I can imagine. As front desk manager, do you deal with all guests? Joyce. I do. It's my job to make sure guests have what they need and that the hotel runs smoothly. I ensure guests are happy with our hotel. Hannah. Has Richard DeVille been happy with his service? Joyce. Pauses. He should be. He's our longest running guest. Hannah. He takes up 2 suites at the Seville, correct? Joyce. That's correct. Hannah. And has he paid for those suites? Joyce pauses again. I'm not at liberty to discuss our guest's arrangements. Hannah. But he hasn't paid, has he? Joyce. As I said, I'm not at liberty to say. Hannah. Harold Kent in finance told me he has an outstanding bill from the past 2 months for thousands of pounds. Joyce. I was told you had questions about the night of the gala. Hannah. I was also told you've tried to collect on numerous occasions, but Mr. Heyman, Mr. DeVille's financial consultant, has failed to pay. Even after you bent over backwards to accommodate him with this gala, which now thrusts the Seville in a negative light. Mr. DeVille has said the hotel did not have proper security that evening. Joyce, getting agitated. He did? It isn't our fault the diamond went missing. He was responsible for security for his own event. The nerve. That man always wants. Did you know he continues to order room service when he hasn't paid? And his daughter gets angry when we don't deliver? The nerve. And then this week, he tells us he's got 2 dogs now that he's keeping. And the Seville doesn't allow dogs. You can only imagine how our other guests react when they see 2 Dalmatians in the lobby. And the barking. When that collector friend of his came calling, the dogs went wild. Hannah. Collector friend? Joyce. Percival Faunswater, I believe. Jeweler collector. Hannah, yes, I'm trying to track him down, but he hasn't returned my calls. Thank you for your time, Miss Waterman.